DiRienzo children, it's Auntie Kelly. I had this idea, since I don't get to see you guys too often, that I would do this really cool idea and I would read you guys bedtime stories. And Laura and Luigi, you can also use this for whenever in the middle of the day, so I could just visit with the kids and they could get to know me since I live so far away. So I'm going to read a book today to you guys, and this book is titled Mommy's Hands, illustrated by Darsa LaBrosse. Yes. It's going to be good. I love my mommy's hands. I love the way my little hands fit into her big hand when we walk. She says, "Your hand is as warm as a biscuit." Mommy loves the way my hands pull her face close when we talk. And I say, "I can count your freckles." I love to watch my mommy's hands pour cereal into a bowl and then milk. Her hands never spill a drop. And Mommy loves the way I could snap the snaps of my snowsuit now with no help. Even though my hair is short, my mommy's hands can braid it. One teeny weeny braid that stands straight up, I say, "Wow, I love it." Mommy likes the way my hands dribble wet sand for decoration on the sandcastle we build at the beach. She says, "Wow, what pretty dribbles." Sometimes our hands do things together. When we mix cookie dough, we don't use spoons, and our hands get all tangled up in the bowl. Mommy sits her hands over mine on the rolling pin to roll out the dough. Then we cut out our favorite shapes to eat together later. In the winter, our hands make frost pictures on the cold window panes. It's always fun. In the spring, we dig holes for the radishes and carrots and pansies and Johnny jump-ups. My hands pick the flowers and pull the vegetables out of the ground. Mommy's hands slice the carrots and the radishes for snacks. On summer nights, I like the way Mommy's hands point at the shooting stars. Her hands trace starry pictures in the sky. The big bear, the little dipper, the swan, the archer, the eagle. Sometimes Mommy helps me write my name. I hold the pencil and Mommy's hand holds mine, and we make letters together. Mommy's hands make hard things easy. I like to watch her fingers pick our knots from my shoelaces. Mommy's hands zip off Band-Aids so fast, and we both shout, "Ouch!" at the very same time. At bedtime, the last thing Mommy's hands do is tuck me in and smooth out the blanket. And most of all, I love her hands when they touch my face and she kisses me goodnight, and I say, "I can still count your freckles, even in the dark." And that was Mommy's hands. Good night. Hello, DiRienzo children. We're back again for another edition of a story by Auntie Kelly. This one is titled The Same But Different. I don't know who the author is, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be good. So if you just cozy in, we will begin. Oh, it's by Misha Goldish. Okay. Mr. Little lived in Gloam in a cozy little home. He had lived there all his life with his children and his wife. Every day when day began, Mr. Little ate and ran, running to his job in town, working in the sun, went down. Every night he came back home, walking in the streets of Gloam. Mr. Little, at day's end, smiled and waved to every friend. Week by week he did the same. To his job he went and came. Off to work he walked to town, working till the sun went down. Every night he came back home, never, never leaving Gloam. One day Mr. Little said, "What a dull life I have led. I only know my job and home. I've never been outside of Gloam. Me oh my, what would I give to see how other people live?" It's an interesting question. Mr. Little told his wife, "We have only seen this life. Let us go someplace new and see the different things they do. Mrs. Little said, okay, trains take people far away. There's a station in this town. We can go there and sit down. That's the thing that we must do if we're going to go somewhere new. All the littles walked through town. In the stations, they all sat down. No train came while they sat there, but the littles didn't care. They never took a trip before, so they sat right by the door. They thought, you go from place to place just by sitting in your space. You see, the littles didn't know you must be on the train to go. Those silly littles. When they thought the trip was done, Mr. Little said, what fun! Taking trips is such a breeze. Sit and go to where you please. Now I think we'll walk outside after such a long, long ride. In this new town we will hike. We will learn what it is like. Those goofy littles. All the littles walked the streets looking for a place to eat. Soon they saw a big food store, one they thought they'd seen before. Mrs. Little said, back home, there's a store like this in Glome. This store back home from where we came, and this new store looks just the same. All the littles walked for miles, greeting people with big smiles. Funny how each different face seemed like one they'd seen someplace. Mr. Little said, back home, people look like this in Glome. The people back from where we came and people here look just the same. What do you think's going on? All the littles walked till dark, and they saw a pretty park. Mrs. Little looked once more. It looked like one she'd seen before. Mrs. Little said, back home, there's a park just like this in Glome. The park back home from where we came, and this park looked just the same. Soon they saw on one fine street a house so cozy and so sweet. Mr. Little had to groan. This looks like the house we own. Our own house from where we came, and this new house looks just the same. How I wish we were in Glome. Let us hurry and go home. And the littles walked through town. In the station they had sat down. In the station they did stay, thinking how they were on the way. Then they thought, you go from place to place just by sitting in your space. You see, the littles didn't know you must be on the train to go. When they thought the trip was done, Mr. Little said, what fun! Taking trips is such a breeze. Sit and go where you please. All the littles went outside, thinking they had had a ride. When they walked home in the street, waving to each friend they'd meet. Their friends all smiled and said, hello, tell us all, where did you go? Did you travel up and down? Did you see a different town? Tell us of all the time you spent in the places where you just went. Tell us of all the news you bring. Tell us each and everything. Do you think they had much to report? Mr. Little thought a while. On his face he had a smile. Then he said, we learned a lot being in this different spot. All the stories, it seems most clear, are different, but just like the ones here. All the people where you go are different, but just like the ones we know. Every park and every home is different, but like those in Glome. From our trip, we now can claim the world is different, but the same. And that was the same but different. So it was kind of a neat story about how no matter where you go, you meet different people. And this story was kind of about a silly family that thought they were taking a trip and they didn't go anywhere. All right, well, it's time to go to bed now. Cozy up. Good night.